Hello and welcome to my first click and play tutorial. Here I am at my home screen on my Windows XP computer, and to begin click and play you hit start. If you use it a lot it should appear here, or you can find it by browsing through your applications, programs, whatever you call them. So here I have click and play and I'll click. So here we start out at the click and play main menu. Here you can play a game that you've saved to Game Pack, modify a game, or create a game. Let's click Create a Game. There are many different gaming options you can choose with Click and Play, but there is no 3D. So this is a 2D game maker, and it's easier and not as complicated as Game Maker 7, even though I do respect Game Maker 7 and it is a good program. But this is just for easy, just if you want to start, this is what you should do. So here we come to the level editor, and we have play game is finished, add a new level to the game, add a new picture, and add a new animation. So for this we can either double click or right click and level editor. So here's the first level and the title is displayed at the top. And what you should do is you should file save game. If you want this to be a private game or if you want it to be played, you double click the arrows and then double click Game Pack and you change it to what you would want. So for this I'm going to call Simple Platform Game, and you can just copy that into here, and whenever you hit play game it'll appear. Okay, just to start, let's go to edit game setup and change what the icon is for this game. So here's what it would be normally. I'm gonna use the transparent to change that, and you can just draw in your own thing. So I'm gonna draw an S for simple platform game. Hit OK. OK. And then you're here at your main menu. If you'd like to use objects that are already preloaded into click and play by scrolling through them on the left, I'll just make a game so you guys can see what I'm doing. So here's a preloaded background and it's the Wild West. Actually I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this one because it's not as 3D. So here's our spooky background, and let's find some objects. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more, and I preloaded some of my previously made characters that I drew myself and are fully animated with attacks and walking. But let's choose one that was already programmed. See, I made all these. Speedus helicopter. This is pretty cool. It's a 3D object, which is really hard to make in this game. But so, here we have our object. Let's right click it to give us all the options. And the thing I like about click and play is you can see what you're doing. So movement. See, this one's already programmed into race car. Race car is where you hold up the up key and use left and right to turn and down to slow down. 8 directions is simple. You just use the arrow keys to do what direction, and if you hold like up and left, you go to the top left like that. Mouse controlled is you control the area where it is and you just move your mouse to control it. Path movement is you draw a path and your character will follow it. Static, it just doesn't do anything. And bouncing ball is where it just travels throughout the level, bouncing into anything you want it to. So let's choose race car. Here you have your speed options. We'll make it 20, and we'll make this 20. And then reverse movements is you being able to turn around. And then those are the angles. Your rotating speed, let's make it a little higher. Moving and start, no. And then try movement. See, I'm using the arrow keys to turn this object and up to control it. and then down to stop, and then downwards again to reverse. And so that's my object. So if you hit escape or hit the stop, it'll go back to this screen. Then you hit OK. So now that your helicopter, your main character, is programmed, let's get some enemies into here. I'm going to use a molecule. These will be the bad guys. So you can either click and then go back up and get another one, or you just right click and you can do as many as you want. So once I have my enemies, movement, change movement, I'm going to change it to a bouncing ball and make them slow, and then try movement, and then that's what it'll do. It'll just bounce right off, and it'll keep going. And moving at start, yes. So once you have these, it's time to program them. So here you are at the event editor. I went game event editor. That's how I got here. Once you're here, it's kind of like Excel, because you have this action compared to this object equals whatever it is here. And so, see, if it leaves the play area on the top, if it goes up there, movement, bounce. That's what it is. And it does that automatically, which is really nice. So, when you do a new action, you click right here. And so here's your objects, and we'll double click this, and then collisions, active object, or objects that move, when it's overlapping something, and a backdrop is an object that doesn't move, but it's just like scenery. So active object, and then when it hits itself, if you can see that, when this hits itself, you can either drag bounce onto it, or right click it, movement, bounce. Once you have that, hit file save. That way you don't lose anything, and you can try it. So I'm flying through my molecules. Okay.